evening. Plus, the University of North Carolina holds a moment of silence for the professor killed. And a UPS driver collapsed while on his delivery route. Heat exhaustion might be to blame.
We'll take a last look at Hurricane Idalia as it moves through North Carolina. We are on the backside of it, getting some dry, hot air. We'll talk about when that will change coming up. We'll have that latest.
And we have the latest on the Bailey Zappi saga, and we hear from a source close to the quarterback. That's coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Karina Garcia. Don Brubaker has the night off. A man was shot today. 25 News Now weekend anchor Adam Seibel was near the crime scene and has more. Adam.
Yes, that's right, Karina. So the shooting happened around 6 p.m. this evening. This shooting happened in the 600 block of East Warren Avenue. Now that is near Christ Kitchen. One man was admitted to the hospital, and at last check with VPD, he is in stable condition. One officer that was on the scene told us that the man was shot in his upper torso and that they were searching for a suspect. And we're waiting for more details from VPD, but Victoria Police Department said that this remains an active investigation. Karina, back to you.
Adam, thank you. The city of Uvalde, Texas filed a second lawsuit against the county district attorney alleging she is not cooperating with the investigation into the deadly shooting at Robb Elementary last year. This is the second lawsuit filed against Christina Mitchell. The first one was dismissed last year after she agreed to provide the information requested by an independent investigator. But Uvalde Mayor Don McLaughlin says that hasn't happened, and he accuses her of withholding body cam video and audio from all responding law enforcement agencies. The mayor says due to her actions, the investigation cannot move forward.
We need to finish this investigation. I mean, the families need it, the community needs it, so we can, look, we're not ever going to forget these kids or these teachers, never. They'll always be a part of Uvalde. But we're not going to be able to move forward or turn, I don't want to say turn the page, but to start the healing process till we have answers to these questions.
Christina Mitchell previously mentioned releasing the information would impact her criminal investigation into the May 24th shooting. In July 2022, the city of Uvalde hired an independent investigator to investigate the shooting and failed response, specifically the actions of Uvalde Police Department. HCS Renewable Energy LLC of Wharton and El Campo laid off 62 employees. The layoffs were announced on June 18th. HCS Renewable Energy is a solar subcontractor. And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez.
Thank you very much, Karina. Well, it's 86 degrees. If you got to see the super blue moon, that was great. Great opportunity. It's out there. We actually got up to 105 today. That was right there at about 2 o'clock. Pretty amazing. Those temperatures are tying the record, and that puts us now as the second longest streak of 100-degree days, 45 days this summer alone. More on your forecast for the weekend, and we'll take a look at Karina's over there, but we'll take a look at the hurricane in a moment. Karina, back to you.
Mac, thank you. A veteran UPS driver died Sunday, days after collapsing in sweltering heat on his work route.
For almost 30 years, 57-year-old Chris Begley did this each day for UPS.
A 28-year member of UPS.
But last Wednesday, his last delivery.
Very tough conversation, very traumatic events that happened to these families.
Per Begley's union, Teamsters Local 767, the loving husband and father to two, dropping off a package at a Farmersville business last Wednesday, a day when the highest temperature was 101, heat index values up to 108. President and Principal Officer Dave Reeves says Begley collapsed to the floor inside.
He did notify UPS of some symptoms that were heat-related injuries.
The business tending to Begley while his supervisor made his way there. UPS telling WFAA that Begley was offered to be taken to the hospital, but that he declined and was taken home. His truck was left in Farmersville, however. If Begley couldn't drive, Reeves wants to know why a supervisor didn't take him to the hospital immediately.
Did UPS follow their own training program that they've developed?
Begley was removed from service and took a few days off. He was later hospitalized and died on Sunday. We don't have his cause of death, but UPS telling WFAA we train our people to recognize the symptoms of heat stress and we respond immediately to any requests for help. The heat, a point of issue between Teamsters and UPS while negotiating a massive labor contract this summer.
There is no AC in these UPS trucks.
No, right now there is no AC in these package cars.
No AC in trucks right now, but starting next year, newer ones will have it and be sent to the hottest parts of the country first. Right now, though, a family in McKinney is without this smile. Could more have been done to save it? A question they want answered.
The UNC Chapel Hill community paused for a moment of silence today to remember a fallen professor. The bell tower rang at 1:02 p.m., marking the exact time faculty member Ziji Yang was shot and killed Monday by a student. Yang was an associate professor in the Department of Applied Physical Sciences. A vigil is set to take place Wednesday night at the University of North Carolina campus. Classes at the university have been canceled since the shooting and are scheduled to resume Thursday.
We need to do something about the easy access to and proliferation of guns. The culture of gun violence just seems to become an acceptable norm. Like this is we're supposed to just accept and live with this as part of our lives. And I believe, doesn't have to be that way. I believe, as hard as it is, that law and policy needs to change so that these incidents are not such a frequent occurrence, and so that guns are not as ubiquitous as candy on Halloween.
The alleged shooter, Tylee Chi, has been arrested, faces charges, and is held without bail. Police say the deceased professor knew Chi and was his academic advisor. Russia launched a massive attack on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, overnight using drones and missiles. 2 people were killed and 3 people sustained injuries of severity from falling debris.
Overnight explosions in Russia. Dozens of Ukrainian drones striking a military airbase in the northwestern city of Pskov. More hitting near the city of Bryansk. This video circulating online. Part of the largest Ukrainian drone attack on Russia since the start of the war. Russia also launching its own barrage, hitting Kyiv in what Ukrainian authorities called the most powerful attack on the capital since the spring, leaving 2 dead. Ukrainians are used to Russian drone attacks, but the waves of Ukrainian drones inside Russia is dramatically new. Ukraine now increasingly able to launch large-scale attacks deep into the country. Recently, drones repeatedly hitting the center of Moscow. This coming a day after the Russian mercenary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin was quietly buried following his death in a plane crash last week. A heavy police presence sealing off the cemetery in St. Petersburg. Journalists kept away. No fanfare or military honors permitted for the former Kremlin ally who challenged Vladimir Putin with his mutiny 2 months ago. The Kremlin seeming keen for Russians to forget Prigozhin.
That Ukrainian drone attack on the airfield reportedly damaged 4 Russian military transport planes. But more importantly, it appears to show that Ukraine increasingly can launch large-scale drone attacks into Russia, which, if it continues, could have a significant impact on the war. Patrick Reevell, ABC News, London.
Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. 1 man was found dead after a car fire on a beach last Friday, August 25th. And first responders got a chance to connect with the community on Sunday during a family fun day at the Port O'Connor Community Center. And Flip Flop Festival returns this weekend at the Bayfront Peninsula Park. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell freezes again during a press conference, this time in Kentucky. Also ahead, the latest on Tropical Storm Idalia now moving through Georgia.
Hi, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs with the Victoria Police Department. Victoria Crime Stoppers is seeking information regarding a murder of Gerald Samuel Hadley. On August 23, 2002, at about 5:10 a.m., Victoria Police Department officers responded to Circle K at the 4400 block of North Navarro concerning a man down by the dumpster behind the location. The man was identified as 63-year-old Gerald Samuel Hadley. Hadley was a white male who was homeless and severely beaten. Hadley was transported to a local hospital for treatment. On July 14, 2003, after nearly a year in a coma, Hadley died as a result of the injuries he received during the aggravated assault. The charge at that time was upgraded to murder. If you have any information about Hadley's murder, please call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 361-572-4200 or submit a tip by using the P3 Tip app on your Android or Apple device, or by visiting our website at www.crimestoppersvictoria.com. All tips are anonymous, and if you give information that leads to arrest or charges being filed, you could earn a cash reward. With the Victoria Police Department, I'm Detective Kelly Gibbs.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell appeared to freeze for a second time during a press conference. The 81-year-old had just finished a nearly 20-minute speech in a forum and was taking questions from reporters. When asked about running for re-election, McConnell froze up, not speaking for over 30 seconds. The senator's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Senator McConnell previously froze during a press conference on Capitol Hill back in July. He was silent for 19 seconds then before he was escorted away. Coronavirus cases are on the rise, and U.S. health leaders say an updated booster aimed at protecting against newer variants is expected to be available mid-September. Millions of Americans were infected with the virus and some have dealt with long-lasting symptoms known as long COVID.
Researchers estimate there may be millions of Americans dealing with long COVID. The condition is defined as having new or ongoing health problems after being infected and recovering from a COVID infection. There are nearly 100 medical centers around the country participating in a multi-year billion-dollar effort to study long COVID and how to help these patients. Symptoms can be wide-ranging, but may include a general unwell feeling, brain fog, trouble remaining physically active, and an inability to smell. While many of the reasons long COVID persists remains a mystery, researchers and clinicians continue to work to find the cause and suitable treatments. They emphasize speaking with your healthcare provider if you believe you may be suffering from the condition, so they can pinpoint your symptoms and offer support. The COVID vaccines and antiviral medications have also been found to provide strong protection against severe infection and death for those infected. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon, ABC News.
Flight attendants at American Airlines voted to strike. They are fighting for a new contract with pay raises and more staffing on flights. Just last week, the airline reached a deal with pilots to give them a 21% raise and a 46% raise by 2027. American also posted a $1.3 billion profit last quarter in the face of strong ticket sales and a decline in the price of jet fuel. Hurricane Idalia unleashed fury on Florida. It made landfall today as a Category 3 hurricane, bringing dangerous winds and life-threatening conditions.
Hurricane Idalia pummeled Florida's Gulf Coast, bringing winds of up to 125 miles per hour. The gusts strong enough to topple trees by this house in Perry, Florida.
No! We're seeing a lot of wind damage.
The powerful Category 3 hurricane making landfall Wednesday and unleashing heavy rains and triggering record-breaking storm surge. Streets along the coast swallowed by water.
This is the rest of town. It's water for as far as you can see.
Hundreds of thousands of homes are without power in Georgia and Florida, and the widespread flooding forcing major highways like US 19 in Citrus County to close.
This road is shut down in major portions in my county right now due to the storm surge that we're seeing.
Several thousand homes along the coast in Pasco County now underwater.
We have water at least 18 inches or higher that have gone into these homes.
Idalia turned northeast to Georgia as a Category 1 hurricane and then a tropical storm, unleashing heavy rains and strong winds. All of Georgia is now under a state of emergency.
It's a dangerous storm. People need to prepare.
In Crystal River, Florida, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
Here's your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you know someone affected by Hurricane Idalia? Yes or no? According to these results tonight, 36% are saying yes and 64% say no. Thank you for voting tonight. Visit us tomorrow for our latest viewer poll. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Cuero Record. The Cuero Gobblers dominate the Rice Birds, kicking off the 2023 football season. And Commissioner's Court hears comments on the District Attorney Office budget changes. Plus, there will be a presentation on child trafficking September 16th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at St. Peter Lutheran Church Fellowship. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com. Now, here's Mac.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Fairly nice evening out there because the humidity is lower than normal. But we did get up to 105 degrees today. That's pretty amazing. We'll be talking more about that. Also, of course, all the activities out on the East Coast. That's where the remnants of Idalia begin to slowly move through the North Carolina area, of all places. They're getting the torrential downpours right about there. We'll talk more about that coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. 86 degrees. It's a full moon out there. It's very lovely. It's the super blue moon. That means it appears larger than normal, and it is also the blue moon. They call it blue moon because you get 2 full moons in the same month, and that's why it's a big deal. Other than that, 105 today, folks. That was our high temperature, and it tied the record for it. That occurred at about 2 o'clock, even though we did manage to get down to 66 in the dry air last night. The dry air came in on the backside of the storm. Now, this is a blank, it looks like a blank map, but actually the radar is on. But as you can see, the storm spinning over here, well, that induces a northwesterly wind, northeasterly wind over our area, and that's what blew all the humidity out and got so hot. There you see the remnants of Idalia. It continues producing, well, I shouldn't say remnants. I mean, it's really producing a punch for North Carolina. You can see the tremendous rainfall that's falling down there, and got some video to show you that just, you know, everybody's been amazed by it. But you're driving along, right? And then all of a sudden a gust of wind comes and the car flies off the road. That's pretty amazing. I mean, it was either a small tornado or a strong microburst of wind, but that was in South Carolina. It's not even where the storm landed at 123 miles an hour. So you can imagine, you know, what the wind can do. Now, these are your forecast highs for tomorrow. We still continue with the triple digits. And the only thing I can tell you is that, yay, August is almost over. That means September rolls around. And September 22nd, 23rd is the beginning of fall. Now, we may not be in the hundreds, but at least we'll be in the 80s, 90s. That would be nice. Seems cool for us, doesn't it? Well, as we look across the state of Texas, you can see these gray areas. This is air pollution. They had ozone action days in the major cities of Texas because the wind, well, aloft it's coming in from the north, but at the surface there's not a lot of surface wind. So the pollutants build up, they break down, goes from your exhaust of your car, it's carbon monoxide. When it mixes with the moisture in the air, it becomes ozone. 3 molecules of oxygen, and it causes pollution. So that's what's happening for us. But here's all the activity. And look at Florida. All the watches and warnings have been lowered. It's all happening in North Carolina, so they're getting part of it as well. The storm itself will start moving offshore by tomorrow morning, and then it'll be sort of wandering around in the Atlantic. There are 3 other systems in the Atlantic. We're not going to worry about them because they really don't have much chance to come into our region. So if high pressure's over here, the winds go in this direction. That would be clockwise. And low pressure's over here, the winds go in this fashion. That would be counterclockwise. That enforces a north wind over our area. That's why we were so sunny and hot for today. So is there any change on the horizon? Well, not in the short term. We're going to be generally quiet in the wind department. We'll see lots of sun tomorrow. We'll get up to 98 for those of you in Port Lavaca. Up in Cuero, a little bit warmer, getting up to 102, but still abundant sunshine. And you can see right here that at 6 a.m., it's still dark because we're getting the days slowly beginning to get shorter and shorter. So we'll be hot and dry through the weekend. By Saturday, Sunday, we start picking up the southeast wind, and hopefully we'll see a few little afternoon showers popping around the area beginning on Monday of next week. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. We'd love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Gino with sports.
Thanks, Mac. The Industrial Cobras are 2 days away from its home opener against the Shiner Comanches. That's coming up after the break. At a crossroads, after yesterday's troubling news for the former Victoria East quarterback Bailey Zappi, he's back with the New England Patriots, but now he will not be on the sidelines. Zappi and former Louisville quarterback Malik Cunningham cleared waivers and will be members of the practice squad, which will not affect the 53-man roster. A source close to Zappi said he had multiple other opportunities to join other teams, also starting out on the practice squad and then eventually be elevated up after he got the playbook down. But Zappi felt his best chance to get on the field is with the Patriots. Zappi is undefeated as a starter with a 2-0 record, and the NCAA college touchdown leader will be fighting for another opportunity on the big stage for the 6-time Super Bowl champions. The game of the week is between two area teams, the Industrial Cobras and the Shiner Comanches. Down in the Snake Pit, the Cobras are looking to strike back and get its first victory of the year. The Cobras came up short against a newly revamped team in the Yoakum Bulldogs, losing 36-14. This is the Cobras head coach Craig Nairn's second year as a head coach and said that the defensive front is the identity of the team. He is looking to go deeper into the playoffs than they did last year when they lost in the third round, the Leona Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, it helps. It helps knowing the personnel, and the personnel knows us. So, we feel pretty confident that we're way ahead of where we were last year at this point, which is pretty exciting, But our district's tough as it gets in South Texas, So if you can survive that, then you got a chance to make a run in the playoffs.
According to Nairn, the weakness for the Cobras right now is the secondary, but Nairn is looking to shore that up before district. The Industrial offense is led by two-year starter under center Ashton Garza. The senior said the offensive line have stepped up and worked together well so far. He also feels the deep playoff run helped him calm his nerves under pressure.
Experience for sure is a good thing to have, and we're just gonna come out here and compete with everybody else in our district and our region, and we're just trying to be better than last year and the year before that and the year before that. We're just trying to be better every year.
And reminder, the game of the week will feature the Industrial Cobras, which are hosting the Shiner Comanches in the Snake Pit. Neither of these teams have started 0-2 in the last 5 years. Tonight at the Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, a world record was set for the largest attendance for a world sporting event in Nebraska. The Cornhuskers now hold the world record after 92,000 people, or now 92,003 people attended the women's volleyball game in Nebraska when they took on Omaha. The previous attendance record was 91,648, set during a Champions League soccer match when Barcelona defeated Real Madrid 5-2 at the Camp Nou Stadium in 2022. Memorial Stadium's official capacity is just over 85,000 for football, but that number was higher because this event allowed much more people on the field. And as you can see here, what an amazing time for women's sports. Well, that's your sports. Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gino. Now stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather with Mac. Plus, a curious dolphin checks out the damage left behind by Hurricane Idalia in Florida. Tonight, you might want to look up. If you do, you could get a glimpse of a super blue moon. It should look bigger and brighter than usual because the moon will be closer to Earth than at any other time this year. You can find it in the sky opposite to the sun and next to Saturn. The moon will be full until Friday morning, but won't be as close after Wednesday night. If you're wondering how rare it is, just think of that expression, once in a blue moon. Well, a dolphin made a quick appearance out of the water today after Hurricane Idalia made landfall this morning in Florida. Idalia flooded streets, closed airports, canceled flights, and caused widespread power outages. However, rising flood waters didn't stop the dolphin from checking out the damage after the storm passed by the Tampa Bay area. Just as quick as the dolphin appeared, it was gone. One Floridian was recording a video of the storm surge on Honeymoon Island when he captured this unexpected moment. Oh, look at him go. There, and he's gone. He was there and he was gone.
He's trying to go see the Miami Dolphins play.
Yeah, there's a dolphin swimming on the street with a storm surge, but that is amazing. You know, that's our biggest problem is when the ocean water starts coming on shore and you get all that flooding problem there.
Yeah.
And even the dolphins come to visit.
Come to say hi.
What's going on here?
Well, what I am curious about is this blue moon that we're about to see after the show wraps.
We're going to go see the blue moon. I'm sure it's very romantic. They call it once in a blue moon because it's the second time you have a full moon within the same month, because that's rare. And next time we get one will be 14 years from now. So if you don't catch it tonight, you missed it.
And how's the weather in the skies out there?
The skies were pretty good. We had a few little clouds rolling through, but I think you'll get a good visibility of it. It's generally, you have to look in the southern sky, looking toward Refugio, I believe. Anyway, tomorrow another hot day. You knew that. Simple forecast. No humidity for the next couple of days until Sunday when the Gulf air rolls back in. And with a little luck, we'll see a few little garden variety showers sometime early next week.
Alrighty, Mac, thank you. Now, a federal judge has refused to dismiss part of a lawsuit against Burger King that claims it misrepresents the size of its food. The class action suit claims Burger King uses photos of the Whopper in ads and on its menu boards that make it look much larger than what it actually is. Burger King asked the judge to dismiss the lawsuit, saying no reasonable person thinks fast food looks like the advertisements. McDonald's, Wendy's, and Taco Bell have all faced similar lawsuits in the recent months. I gotta say,
yeah,
the Whopper does not match that advertisement.
Yeah, and the crowns aren't very real either, you know.
I love those toy, or the ones that you could just make and put on your head. Those are pretty cool. I need to get one of those.
They gave me a crown once. I'm going, this doesn't look like the picture.
File a lawsuit. Join the lawsuit.
Oh my goodness.
Alrighty, well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Don't forget, join Carolina Estrain and meteorologist Trey Mining for 25 News Now Sunrise.